In the modern dating world, we often hear that a man's dating market value is determined by a few key traits, like money, status, height, and looks. These are the factors that are frequently emphasized in conversations about attraction. But what if I told you that the common perception of what makes a man desirable is often skewed? While traits like height and money do play a role, they're not as crucial as many people believe. There's something much more important at play, something that's often overlooked, but could actually be more impactful: a man's social skills, his presentation, and his overall game strategy. Now, let's first acknowledge that status is actually very important when it comes to attracting women. In fact, status might be the most significant factor that impacts attraction for a man. Think about it: when women are out at a bar, who they find most attractive? It's not always the tall, wealthy guy sitting in a VIP booth. More often, it's the DJ, the bartender, or even the security guard. These people command attention because they hold a position of authority and influence in that environment. They have social status, and that status makes them more superior in the eyes of women. And to women, superiority equals attraction. Status isn't about wealth or physical attributes. It's about how respected and connected a person is in a particular setting. And that's something that is more powerful than height or money. With that in mind, let's look at the comparison between two men. One man is tall and wealthy, but his status doesn't really set him apart in social settings. You might have a great job and impressive wealth, but that's not enough to make him stand out in a crowded social environment. Let's call this man Man A. Now let's compare him to Man B, who is 5'7", not particularly wealthy, just around average, but has worked hard to build a lifestyle that makes him attractive. This man has been hitting the gym for several years and has a well-developed physique. He dresses with style, maybe even sporting some tattoos and piercings. But what really sets Man B apart is his understanding of how to navigate social settings. He spent time learning the nuances of social dynamics, and he's crafted his game through consistent effort. Man B knows how to enter a bar or a party and immediately start interacting with the staff. He greets the bartenders, chats with the security, and builds rapport with the DJ and the manager. This makes him stand out because he's not just there standing on the same spot to drink with a friend. He's there to socialize and engage with the environment. When a woman sees him talking to staff, she perceives him as someone important and well-connected in that space. He's no longer just another guy at the bar. He's someone who has built a sense of social value and recognition, and that makes him more attractive. Meanwhile, Man A, though tall and wealthy, hasn't put much effort into developing his social skills or status within the environment. He might be sitting in a VIP booth or showing off his wealth in other ways, but without the social skills that build status, he's just another guy. This makes him less appealing in comparison to Man B, whose social presence and ability to navigate his environment set him apart and make him appear more attractive, even though he's shorter and less wealthy. Now, let's move to the online dating world. Here, a man's photos and messages are everything. Let's look at how Man A and Man B would fare in an online dating scenario. Man A, the tall, wealthy man, might fill out his profile with details about his height and occupation. These details are helpful, but his photos are pretty average. Maybe there's a shirtless selfie or a slightly blurry picture of him wearing sunglasses and covering his face. His photos don't make him look good in the eyes of women. They don't tell a compelling story. His photos lack context and personality. On the other hand, Man B, the shorter man, takes the time to craft his profile. He dresses stylishly in his photos, showcasing his fashion sense and his fitness. His pictures aren't just random selfies, they're well thought out, taken in interesting locations like cool bars, cafes, or even on trips to places outside a city, which makes him look well-traveled and adventurous. He even includes photos with friends, both men and women, showing that he's socially engaged. His photos tell a story, and that story makes him seem more appealing than Man A, who relies on his wealth and height alone to try and stand out. When it comes to messaging, Man B also has the upper hand. He knows that online dating is about more than just sending a "hey" or "what's up." He crafts his first message thoughtfully, making it catchy and engaging. He doesn't overwhelm her with messages, and he knows how to space them out. When he invites her to meet, it's with a well-crafted suggestion: a cool cocktail bar at a specific time, maybe Thursday or Friday evening, and 3 or 4 days in advance, so she doesn't feel pressured. This shows planning and consideration. Man A, however, doesn't have the same approach. His messages tend to be generic, and his first meeting suggestions are often last-minute or uninspired. As a result, man B gets more matches and more dates. Now, let's look at the actual dates. Both men set up a date for the same evening, Friday night. Man A chooses a fancy restaurant, and while this sounds good so far, there are a few issues. When they meet, Man A's body language isn't as confident as it could be. He talks too much and doesn't make enough eye contact. His outfit is just average, not particularly stylish. The overall impression is that he's just another guy to use for a foodie call or for attention and validation. Man B, on the other hand, picks a trendy bar with a stylish, laid-back atmosphere, but one that isn't too expensive. His outfit is sharp. He knows how to dress in a way that stands out. He doesn't dominate the conversation, but he still leads. He asks engaging questions and keeps her talking. He makes sure to maintain solid eye contact, presenting himself as confident and comfortable. He exudes a dominant masculine energy without being overbearing. This combination of social skill, style, and confident body language makes him much more attractive than Man A, despite Man A's wealth and height. Even though Man A spent more money on the fancy restaurant, the atmosphere that Man B creates with his venue choice and personal style is what leaves a lasting impression. He's not relying on his wealth to impress. He's relying on his ability to make the night feel special and unique. When the time comes to take the date back to their place, the tall, rich man asks the woman if she would like to go to his place. His tone is shaky, and there's a sense of uncertainty in his demeanor. Meanwhile, Man B doesn't ask. Instead, he asserts, "Let's go to my place for a bottle of wine." With confidence, the assertiveness in his voice, combined with his calm demeanor, makes him more attractive and desirable. It's not about being pushy. It's about looking confident and in control. When they both take their dates back to their apartments, the tall, rich man's place is impressive, but it's somewhat impersonal. His apartment is luxurious, with great views and a sleek design, but it doesn't score the points you might expect. While it makes a good first impression because of its size and luxury, a fancy apartment can only take you so far without personality and strategy. Also, the apartment is well decorated, but it says, "I have money but not a great lifestyle." For example, he has an arcade machine in the living room and some workout equipment, which makes the space feel more like a bachelor pad than a place that's cozy, mature, and seductive. This could make him seem immature in her eyes or even give her the ick. Additionally, there's no music playing to set the mood, leaving the atmosphere flat and uninviting. Ultimately, luxury alone doesn't create deep attraction. Without personality and strategy, it falls short. In contrast, Man B's apartment is smaller, but he's put effort into making it cozy, masculine, and inviting. The lighting is soft and warm, with several lamps creating a calming, seductive ambience. The music playing in the background is slow and sexy, something familiar and comforting that sets the right tone. Even though his place isn't as expensive and his furniture is either second-hand or discounted items, his attention to detail in creating a relaxed, intimate environment works in his favor. Plus, he knows that a man doesn't need to spend a ton in order to seduce a woman. He knows it's more about game and character. As they sit down, he continues to use his social skills to engage her, maintaining eye contact and commanding the space with his presence. As the night progresses, the tall, rich man makes a move, but it's a bit clumsy and rushed. He tries to kiss her and escalate things too quickly. After kissing for a minute, he tries to escalate to second base. The woman, being accustomed to this pattern, reflexively stops the escalation. Man B, however, takes his time. He doesn't rush the situation. After about 20 minutes of conversation, as it's dying down, he takes this moment to make a move. He gets up, extends his hand and says confidently, "Lay down." As he points to the sofa. He's assertive but not overbearing, and this subtle shift in power makes him more attractive. If she is confused about his command, he simply tells her he has a surprise for her, and that he doesn't want to ruin it in an assertive, masculine tone. He then transitions into a skillful back massage, slowly leading into more intimate and dominant touches, using BDSM-inspired techniques that appeal to a broader range of women and making him stand out among other men. At the end of the night, despite the tall, rich man's wealth and fancy apartment, Man B is much more likely to secure a second date. Why? Because while wealth and height do matter, they're not the deciding factors in sealing the deal. Height contributes to physical attractiveness, and money helps facilitate things, making certain experiences more accessible. Plus, money is often associated with success, and successful men can be perceived as more attractive due to their accomplishments. However, what truly matters is confidence, social intelligence, personal style, and the ability to create an experience that leaves a lasting impression. Man B's ability to connect, engage, and create an environment that feels warm and inviting makes him the more attractive option in the long run. Money and height might open the door, but it's social skills, confidence, and presence that will keep it open. So, when you think about attraction, remember that there's much more to it than just height and money. It's about how you carry yourself, how you engage with others, and how you create an environment where someone can't help but want to come back for more. Confidence, style, and social skills are the real game changers. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.